Embarking Oriana in Southampton for probably our rainiest sail away ever. No band on the quayside this time, but our Baltic tier status did get us a glass each of champagne. Passing Hythe Marina, where a few days previously we watched the spectacular P&O Grand Event sail away. After a day at sea, our first port is Stavanger. The mainly white painted wooden houses of the old town, and an opportunity to look at the changes which have been made to Oriana since the children's facilities were taken away from the terrace pool area. We've booked the P&O trip to the tropical flora of Norway, which involves a ferry ride of about half an hour or so. Arriving at the landing stage for Fjords.mov, we're greeted by the chef. This is either a restaurant with a garden or a garden with a restaurant, depending on how you look at it. Normally, you can only get in here by booking either lunch or dinner at the restaurant. Tours from cruise ships are also taken in the morning. Every year, more than 50,000 new annual plants are planted out in this garden. Some of the specimen plants are in pots and can be moved in during the winter. Others remain in situ and are protected against the Norwegian winter. That's got to be the most amazing shed roof ever. We don't get lunch on this trip, but we do get free coffee, which is a bargain in Norway. The sun's come out and there's time for a last look round, and the garden is looking even better. There are robotic lawnmowers to look after the grass. Waiting for the ferry to come back, bringing the lunch guests, and that will take us back to Stavanger. The ferry conveniently drops us just by the stern of Oriana, and we've got time for a little lunch on board before we head off to walk around the town. St. Swithin's Cathedral. We found a trendy coffee shop in here, and it wasn't much more expensive than Starbucks. A final stroll round the harbour, and it's time to re-embark Oriana. An overnight sail brings us to Ålesund, which is Norway's most important fishing port. The entire city centre was destroyed by fire in 1904 and was rebuilt shortly afterwards in the Art Nouveau style known as Jugendstil here. Fred Olsen are in with us. Ålesund Parish Church, which we'll be visiting later. We decided just to walk around on our own. The church was built after the fire in 1909. The church is particularly well known for these frescoes. Like most Norwegian churches, it has a model ship. Rollo was a Viking chief born around 846 here. He went on to become the first Duke of Normandy, the great-great-grandfather of William the Conqueror, and is therefore ancestor to our present Queen. It's only just over 40 miles as the crow flies from Ålesund to Geiranger, but Oriana went back out into the Norwegian Sea overnight before coming back in up the fjord to this beautiful little village. We've booked on P&O's trip up Mount Dalsnibbe, 1500 metres, but the weather conditions are far from ideal, and when we get to the top, well, there's not much of a view sadly. There seems to be a Norwegian thing about building little cairns. On the way down, we stop at Djupvass Lake. This lake is still frozen, but would be expected to have been clear of ice over a month ago. Our final stop is at the Flydalsjuvet viewpoint. This is the famous one. Back down in the village, there's time for a little walk round and a relatively expensive Norwegian coffee. Even in the rain that came on quite hard, it's a beautiful long sail out through Geiranger Fjord, and we arrive in Bergen the following morning. The ship berths very close to the World Heritage Site of Bruggen. I've heard of being two-faced, but this is ridiculous. Some parts of this World Heritage Site are being rebuilt. At the head of the harbour is the old fish market, and since we were here last, there's a new indoor fish market being built. All very clean and hygienic and expensive. Norwegian strawberries, for which you need a mortgage. And that's about it as we pass the Rosenkrantz Tower on our way back to the ship to return to Southampton. An extra surprise on this cruise was the singing voice of Entertainment Officer Anton.